In this video, I'm going to show you how to play the game Energy City and just give you a couple of introductions to it. This is going to be a game that we're going to be using to really look at the impacts and the costs and benefits of different sources of power production and to see if we can learn something about how we have to balance a lot of things to be able to generate enough power for a city. So when you get to the game, you're going to go ahead and hit begin. And when you do that, there's a bunch of different cities that you can choose on. I'm going to start with Beacon Plains because that's the easiest, and I'm going to play normal. When it loads, I'm going to walk you through this this tutorial. So first thing is there's this energy bar on the side, and your goal is to always fill up the energy bar. And it tells you how many energy units you need. So in this case, we need 100. You will make different power sources. So in this case, we have 3 power sources: a coal plant, another coal plant, and then an oil plant. And each one gives a certain amount of energy. So to make energy, you click on one of them. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the coal plant, and you'll see that my energy went up 13 because this raises the energy 13 each time you use it. It also impacts your air quality, your environment, and your budget. And you can see that when I hover over this, it lowers those and it shows in red what has gone down. Now each plant can only be used a certain amount of times. So in this case, this coal plant can be used 4 times, and when I use it up, it says 100% energy capacity, and right now I'm at 52 energy units. And so you have to make the decision. Do you want to use different power production that lowers air quality? Does it lower your environmental impact, or does it imply some cost to it? Next thing is, of course, we need to fill this up. So I will click on my coal plant, and you can see how much it adds up each time. Once we are fully full, we can go to do some investment. So I can click on the energy strategies down here, and there is a whole list of energy strategies I'm not going to go through, but there's lots of options that you can choose. So if I wanted to invest in a coal plant, there are a few things that do this. So for example, this one, as soon as I buy it, it's going to lower my cost by 7, or my budget by 7. It's going to lower the air quality up here, and it's going to lower environmental impact. But it also has some use every time. So when I invest in a coal plant, it will give me 13 energy units, and it will cost $2 to do that, and you can see the environmental impacts up to the side. When you're looking at that, there are lots of different strategies to do, and some of them take some time to build. So for example, if I wanted to invest in a nuclear plant, I first have to learn a little bit about nuclear resources. So if I click buy on there, you can see up top my budget went down. Now this is working, and it's going to take a turn to complete, so then I can go into eventually buy my power plant. There's lots of strategies to use, so you will have to kind of plan ahead to see what the impacts will be. Remember that it will never apply for that turn that you use it. So we can always click to close as we go. All right. So at the end of your turn, the next part you're going to do is you're going to click next here, and next goes to the next year, and it always tells you what you're doing, if you're on track. So in the first year, so far I've only used fossil fuels, which is represented by that dinosaur image. We can look at my air quality, seeing my air quality go down, and environmental health also, and then my budget. Okay. Every year, when you press the next, you get a couple things. So, for example, city upkeep happens where I get $50 of budget back, and air quality goes up, and environmental impact goes up. Now, I would recommend always trying to spend at least your $50 down so that you can always use a full budget here. Um, Again, and then little upgrades that you can make throughout the time are shown down here. All right. So next thing that happens sometimes is we have these stakeholders, and the stakeholders are on the side. It says, this one represents the local health council. This one on the side represents the local middle school population, and they have tasks for you. So they have their request. This one asks to invest in any conservation strategy, and you can think about it later. Um, there's always a punishment for not doing it, so maybe I'll say I'll do that. And I can click on the other one. So in this case, it says invest in any solar strategy, and automatically I'll get a $10 bonus. So I will do that as well. So sometimes I like to do those tasks first, and here's my strategies here. One thing that's nice about this is you can see with the face on it if you are going to satisfy um, one of their needs. So this was the middle schooler. I'm going to do this, and I will buy that. And maybe I have another strategy. Maybe I will do transportation planning. You see, transportation planning is going to cost $15, but it's going to have some benefits later on. Every turn automatically after, and I'll buy that. I don't want to spend all my money right now because I know that I still need to power up my energy. So maybe I'll do that. Click on the energy plant to gain energy. Click on my energy plant to gain energy, and it looks like I've kind of maxed it out. One last thing I might do is last turn I started investing in nuclear resources. Well, I think I have enough money right now, and so maybe I will invest in a nuclear plant. All right. Then we'll hit my next turn, and it kind of goes through the same screen. I can look at how I'm doing. I can see in my legend what kind of energy I'm using. Right now I'm using all non-renewable, and I can continue on. It'll show that recap as I go forward. Now, last thing that you'll see is this kind of keeps on coming. Different things might pop up, so there might be a booming economy and you might get more money. Sometimes they will give you things that hurt you, so meaning environmental impact or air quality as you're planning out your city. We are going to ask you a series of questions after each game or during each game. So if you continue on in the PowerPoint, you'll see what those are.